Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped, and welcome to this week's Midweek 180. Trees up, people, trees up. Yes, the tree went up at the weekend. I'm sure many of you got your tree up by now. If not, it's probably going to be this coming weekend. And it started to feel very Christmassy. It's not long now till the big day. And I'm actually pretty much at home now until Christmas. So lots of planning for the run up to Christmas, but also lots and lots of planning for the content I'm going to be bringing you next year. But for now, let's bring you the Midweek 180. If you've not seen one of these before, this is my midweek update where I bring you my news, views and information about upcoming reviews, all filmed in one take. I'm going to put 180 seconds in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and that's it. A very simple format. So, without further ado, let's get cracking with this week's Midweek 180, as I have much to discuss. I shall start my timer. Okay, leader of the pack last week was Michael Kember. Congratulations, mate. Joined in the Magnificent Seven by Ben Higginson, Leanne Jackson, Francois G, Dan Greasley, Keith Chambers and Paul Mead. So whoever puts the first comment this week, you'll be my leader of the pack next week. And the first 7 comments will be in my Magnificent Seven. Where are you and what you're doing? Well, that was John Wheatley, who was at his works canteen at 8:30 in the evening, eating curry and rice. But wherever you are right now, and whatever you're doing, put it in the comments below, and I'll give you a shout out next week. Last week's question was tree up or tree down. It sparked a huge debate. Those who go early and put their tree up in like November, and those who put it up right at the last minute. But I always find it quite interesting. This is early for us actually. But this week's question, another kind of straw poll thing. I just wanted to know if you're running summer tyres, or whether you've put winter tyres, or whether you have all-season tyres on your car. I'm just interested to see. In the UK, it's a choice. I know some of you, if you're watching in somewhere like Germany, it's law to put winter tyres on in certain parts of Germany. So I'd love to know what a straw poll would show us. Formula One, oh my days. Lots to talk about here. I will run out of time, I'm sure. Saudi Arabia, Jeddah circuit, what a circuit. I mean, it was a bit scary. I think it's debatably on the edge of if it's safe or not. Qualifying was amazing. The final lap Max Verstappen was putting in on qualifying was just unbelievable. Trace and I were both watching it, and you could see how much faster the car was. Sadly, though, pushed it a little bit hard going into the last corner. Instead of just kind of backing off a little bit, kept going, stuck it in the wall. Which is a great shame, actually, because it was an amazing lap. But for me, it's what happened in the race. It was an incredible race, absolutely nail-biting throughout. And I just wanted to kind of talk about it a little bit. I am all for letting the drivers drive. I'm all for elbows out racing and kind of, holding your ground. But there is a line, and when that line is crossed, it becomes dangerous. And I'm not saying all of the drivers are angels and without fault. There are times this year when Lewis has done a couple of things and you think, I'm not so sure about that. But for me, Max, over the course of the race, was over that line far, far too many times. Be that, not wanting to give up into a corner. He had nothing to lose, because if they'd have both crashed, he would have become world champion, I think he would have become world champion. It was a difficult one. But the actual incident where they collided, that for me was, he was asked to give the space back. He was clearly trying to do that just before the DRS line so he could then take Lewis back. I have a question as to whether that's sporting or not. It's very clever, no doubt. But he braked so hard, he pulled 2.4 G in braking. Now, if you're in a road car and you've got one of those G meters, you try and stop your car with a braking force of 2.4 G. That's hard braking. That is a lot of slowing down. So I just think, I'm just going to give up on my timer today because I really wanted to talk about this. I think for me, that was just very, very dangerous driving. He got 5-second penalty during the race, and I personally think that was he needed a far, far more severe sanction than that. But then at the podium ceremony, he then walked off the podium ceremony, which bad sportsmanship for me is unforgivable. And that was a case of bad sportsmanship for me. So I think he just needs to rein it back a little bit. There's no doubt Max Verstappen is an incredible driver. Absolutely incredible. But what I want to see is him and Lewis going toe-to-toe, but driving like incredible drivers with respect of the other person and not taking it too far. And for me, Max, he has no No qualms. And I guess you could go back in history and you could look at the likes of Schumacher. He was exactly the same. Even Ayrton Senna, he was the same. Remember that famous race where he took Prost out on the first corner? And I think someone, unless Max is sanctioned and someone has a word with him, someone is going to have an accident, and it's going to be a nasty one. But yeah, there you go. That's my over the time thing on Formula One. I knew I was going to do that. I would love to know what you think. Max Verstappen has incredibly vocal supporters on social media, so I'm sure I'm bound to get absolutely shot down in flames for that. And don't get me wrong, I support Lewis, but I'm not a 100% Lewis fan. There are plenty of things Lewis does that I don't think are right, and the way he behaves, quite often actually, I don't think's right. I'm much more of a kind of Lando Norris fan, if I'm honest, but for me, Max just needs to rein it in quite a lot. New car news very briefly. I don't care about the time on this one. I just want to have a chat with you lot, to be honest. Is this. I've only seen this literally yesterday online. This is the HR Yaris H2. It is a Toyota GR Yaris that's powered by hydrogen. Not a hydrogen fuel cell. This has got the same 1600cc triple turbo engine that you find in the GR Yaris, but it's been modified with different injectors and a different fuel supply system and hydrogen tanks. So it actually runs on hydrogen combustion. It's a proof of concept at the moment. But I just think it's wicked. And one of the things I really want to try and do next year, because I haven't done so yet, is to drive a hydrogen fuel cell car and have a bit more of a debate about where cars are going in terms of their fuel source. Petrol, diesel, synthetic fuels, hydrogen, electric. I think that's going to be a really big debate for next year. And then finally, Friday's video at 6, talking about electrics, is I did a cold weather range test in the MG ZS EV last week. I drove it to Wales on one of the coldest days of the year so far. And all I need to say is, it didn't go well. Well, getting there went well, but coming back, I kind of lost it a little bit, I'm afraid. And I really went for it. I had a bit of a rant in the car, so it's worth watching and tuning into. But for now, massively over time. Apologies for that, but I really did want to get the whole F1 thing off my chest. I could have just done a video on that race, really, and on driving standards and on where I think things need to kind of change a little bit. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye. If you've enjoyed that one, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol Ped for plenty more content to come. And I'll see you on the next video, which is this Friday at 6 o'clock for a long-range cold weather test in the MG ZS EV. It's only got a range of 140 miles, and I drove it to Wales and back. That's all I need to say. Anyway, for now, from me, the petrol pup who's chilling next to me. You a bit tired, dude? I'll see you on the next one. You take care, guys. Drive safe.